Hi, welcome to Yoga for Stress and Anxiety. So today quite a few props would be helpful, but just for the very end for our final Shavasana position. So if you haven't got lots of props available, then just grab a few cushions, maybe a couple of pillows, something like that, and you'll be able to find a way to get cozy. If you have got lots of props available, then grabbing hold of a bolster if you have one, or you can do your replacement, stuffing a few pillows inside one pillowcase. Couple of cushions, couple of blocks, and a blanket. So like I said, this is just for the very end, just for our kind of final chilling out position. So you can absolutely make do with just a couple of cushions or something like that, if that's what you've got. So we're going to come to start today in child's pose. So that's the only other thing you may want just a couple of props for if you like to have child's pose with a bit of support. So cushion in between thighs and calves, or maybe a block or a cushion under the head. So finding your way to start in child's pose once you're ready, and taking whatever variation of child's pose feels best. So bringing the big toes together, and the knees can be apart or together, and you can have the arms reaching out in front, you can have them down by the sides, palm facing up. So just, going into what feels good for your body. I'm going to take a knees wide version and arms in front, but feel free to go with what feels good for you. Finding your way down to the mat when you're ready. And maybe taking just a little shuffle on the hips side to side. And taking a moment to experience what it's like to be here, to be on your mat. How does it feel today? How are you feeling today? You can carry on rocking in child's pose. You can come to stillness in child's pose. Noticing what it is about this particular class that drew you to doing this class today. What are you wanting to feel at the end of class? How do you feel now? What's been going on today? What's been going on this week? How does it feel to be here? Taking a moment to check in with your body. How does your body feel? Has that been holding tension? Are there places that you can notice, maybe feel a little tight today? Hips, shoulders, neck, jaw, maybe even the forehead or the head in general. Maybe as your awareness comes to them, there's a little bit of room to find a bit of softness in those places. Maybe you've also begun to notice your breath. What's that like today? What does it feel like to breathe into the back of your body? Taking a few breaths, seeing if you can open up, create a bit of space as you inhale in the back of the body, the sides of your body. Almost as if someone had their hand on your mid-back and you were breathing into that space, into their hand. You're exactly where you need to be right now. Allow yourself and give permission to yourself to be in this space just for you, for this short while you've got class going on, to be in your practice. Coming back to observing your breath, not worrying about what it's doing or where it should or shouldn't be. However it's coming is just fine. But perhaps allowing yourself to notice it, to feel it, feel the inhales, feel the exhales. Maybe on the exhales you can almost imagine that you're releasing some of that stress, maybe a sigh out through the mouth. And gradually, maybe the inhales can begin to bring in a little bit more space into your body. Maybe inhaling a feeling of calm, of peace. Whatever it is that you might need today, maybe there's another feeling that you feel that you need as you inhale. Working with these inhales and exhales for a few moments longer. And on your next inhale, if the hands are not already at the front of the mat, then bringing them out in front of the body. Pressing into your hands and then rising up into any kind of all fours position. It doesn't have to be anything specific for now. And you can keep the eyes closed if you want, so working with your breath to rock backwards and forwards. So inhale, rocking forwards. Exhale, rocking back. Maybe the hips come all the way to the heels, maybe you just come back part way. So this is completely about what feels good for your body. And really trying to see if you can move slowly, if you can move meditatively. So moving with your breath. It can be any movement that's feeling good. Calming through once more, inhaling, finding space in the back and the sides of your body. And exhaling, releasing, letting go. As you rise up again, maybe beginning to take circles with the body, with the hips. Again, this can be anything that feels good. You can pause anywhere that you'd like to pause. You can change direction whenever you want to change direction. Allowing your body to lead you here. And focusing just on what your body needs, what feels good, what you need today. There's no right or wrongs in practice, in this practice today. It's whatever feels good, whatever it is that you need. Taking one more circle wherever you are, and then finding a way to center into a kind of an all fours position. So hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. And then slowly beginning to walk the hands forward. Going to come down into puppy dog pose. So if the forehead meets the ground here, you can bring the forehead down, reaching the arms out in front. Or if it doesn't reach the ground comfortably, feel free to pop a cushion underneath there or a block. And if you'd prefer to be on your chin instead of your forehead, if you want an even deeper puppy dog stretch, then feel free to be on the chin. Once you get there, really allowing your heart to sink down, the chest to sink down and open. Now maybe your inhales can be invited into the front of the body as well. So this kind of wrap around 3D effect, the sides, the back and the front of the body. How does it feel to have your heart open here? And as you exhale, letting go of any heaviness that your heart might be holding. Anything that you don't want in there, anything that isn't serving you, anything that's stuck. Couple more breaths here. Pressing into the hands on your next inhale. You might want to rock forward almost onto forearms and then coming up onto the hands into all fours. And then rocking back on towards the heels or part way. Inhale, coming forward. We'll take a couple of cat-cows. So checking that the hands are still underneath the shoulders, the knees are still underneath the hips. As you inhale, lifting up the tailbone and rolling open through the spine. Noticing again how it feels for the heart, for the chest to be open. Exhaling, tucking and rounding everything. A chance to let go. Inhaling, coming forwards again. So really working with your breath here. Inhaling to fill the body. Filling it with that feeling that you want, whatever it is, the peace, the calm. Exhaling, Maybe out through the mouth, releasing, letting go of anything that's stuck, anything you don't want in the body, in your heart, in your mind. Inhaling, opening up. And exhaling. Inhaling, finding our way back to center. And then coming to sit back on the heels. Taking a really gentle opening of the front of the body, bringing the hands behind the body. You can stay here with the hips to the heels and maybe open through the chest if you want, drawing the shoulder blades together, maybe lifting the gaze. If you'd like to feel a bit more openness, then you can lean into the hands and begin to lift the hips from the heels. This is entirely up to you. And you can go as far as you want. Maybe you invite the head to come back or the gaze to lift. And then tucking the chin to come back down. So whatever feels good, you can open up, just staying seated if you want, staying in that position. And you can do little kind of tucks and curls of the chin. No need to lift the hips if you don't want to. Wherever you are, coming through one more time. And then walking the hands back up to kneeling. Coming into a really gentle twist here. So drawing up tall through the spine. And then left hand comes to the right thigh. Right hand behind the body. It doesn't matter if it doesn't touch the floor. You can tuck the right hand behind if you prefer. And then twisting from the waist. Gaze comes over to the right or maybe slightly behind. And you can keep your eyes closed here if you want. Working with those inhales and exhales, staying with that breath all the way through today. Inhaling, finding a way back to the center. And exhaling, right hand to the left thigh. Left hand comes behind or wraps around the body. Exhaling, opening up. Noticing the openness through the front of your body here. How does it feel to be in this twist, in this position? And gently inhaling back to center and drawing tall for a moment. Walking the hands back out into all fours. And then tucking the toes underneath, pressing through the hands and the feet, lifting the hips, downward facing dog. So I encourage you to take a really nice big bend through the knees to start with. See about grounding down through the hands, lifting the hips high, letting your head be heavy. Maybe you take a little kind of shake of the head or a nod of the head, loosening off the neck. And then perhaps beginning to pedal the feet. So as you exhale, maybe the right heel comes down up onto the left toes. Inhaling up onto both toes and exhaling, the left heel comes down. Inhaling up onto both toes. Exhaling, the right heel comes down. And inhaling up onto both toes. Exhaling, the left heel comes down. And then allowing both heels to move down. You can keep a bend in the legs if that feels good. And slowly beginning to walk the hands back to meet the feet. Once you get there, feet to hips width apart. Hand inside each elbow, taking a ragdoll forward fold. Maybe a little sway from side to side. And then releasing the hands so they can either come down to the ground. Maybe you bend the knees to bring them to the ground. Or maybe you just allow them to dangle. As you inhale, drawing the hands up to either the shins or the thighs. Seeing if you can bring your spine along. Bringing the shoulder blades closer together at the back, opening through the chest. Coming into halfway lift. Breathing into that space at the front of the body. As you exhale again, releasing down into forward fold. Inhaling, rolling back up into halfway lift, finding that length through the spine, bringing the gaze straight down to the ground, broadening, opening through the shoulders and the chest. Exhaling, forward fold. Everything goes heavy on the top body. Inhaling, really slowly rolling up through the spine, almost one vertebrae at a time, all the way up to stand. And once you get there, allowing the palms to open up to the front. And maybe allowing the eyes to close if it feels comfortable. Notice the grounding of your feet on the mat. Maybe you're feeling a little swaying or almost like it feels like a little bit wobbly with the eyes closed. Notice how the feet support you, how they catch you. They are a solid foundation. As you exhale, imagine them grounding you down and rooting you down into the earth. And as they ground you down, maybe imagining the rest of the body rising up, lifting up through the legs. Maybe the upper body can almost get a feeling of lifting up and out of the pelvis. It's almost floating. Broadening and opening through the chest. The shoulders draw down and away. A slight tucking of your chin brings the back of the neck long. Standing up tall through the crown of the head. How does it feel in this position? Breathing into that space. Noticing that solid grounding of the feet. As you inhale, letting the arms float up to the sides, reaching up overhead, reaching tall through the fingertips. As you exhale, opening the arms into a cactus shape at the sides. An option to take a deep sigh or a lion's breath here. Inhale to reach tall again with the hands. Feeling the length from the tip of the fingers all the way down to the heels. Exhaling, feel free to open the arms into a cactus, palms wide, and maybe you want to take a deep sigh or a lion's breath. Once more, inhale, reaching up tall with the fingertips. Exhaling, taking that cactus, that opening stretch through the chest, a lion's breath or sigh. Bring in the hands to prayer. Opening the eyes, exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, hands come to shins, halfway lift, bringing the gaze long. Exhaling to fold forward again. And then beginning to walk the hands out. Coming back into downward facing dog. Taking a couple more breaths here in this down dog. You can come down onto the knees or into child's pose at any time. Notice the feeling of the grounding down through the feet and the hands this time, and the hips rising up. And then option to take a little roll forward into plank. Bringing the knees down, untucking the toes, and coming back into a little child's pose. Inhaling, rising up, tucking the toes, pressing through hands and hips, downward facing dog. So we'll take a couple of these little waves through these poses. Inhale, rolling forward to plank. Lowering the knees down, untucking toes, hips come towards heels for a little child's pose. Inhale, pressing through hands, tucking the toes under, rising up, downward facing dog. Once more, inhale, rolling forward to plank. Lowering the knees, untucking toes, back to child's pose. And then inhale, rising up to all fours. Taking the feet out to the sides and coming to sit down on your glutes, on your hips. So we're going to finish off today with a nice supported Baddha Konasana, or any other option you'd prefer to take. So if you have got all of the props, I'll show you how you can set up for this. So if you've got your various blocks, then you can kind of set up one there and one there. So kind of one widthways, one lengthways. And then you can pop your bolster over the top. So it's really just to create a little support for your bolster. So if you haven't got blocks, of course you can shove cushions underneath. I like to use a blanket just to fill that little space at the bottom, but you don't need to, and you can pop a blanket just over the top of your head if you like. And then coming to lie down, these extra cushions are to go underneath the knees for when we take Baddha Konasana. So if you've only got a couple of cushions, feel free to come all the way down to your back if that feels good, and you can just use these for support under the knees, so you don't have to have this set up if you don't want to. So bringing the feet flat to start with, lowering down. And then if it feels comfortable and if you'd like to take your reclined Baddha Konasana, then you can bring the soles of the feet together, allowing the knees to open. So again, this is an option. You're welcome to just bring the feet flat to the floor if you prefer. And using the cushions so that there doesn't have to be any holding or any gripping in the legs and the inner thighs. And the nice thing if you have got this bolster or this support is you'll find there's just a bit more openness across the chest. And maybe you want to have your arms kind of open to the side to experience the shoulders and the neck being able to kind of release and relax a little bit. And then allowing your eyes to close once you get into whatever position you've chosen. So again, so many options for variations here. Don't worry if yours looks a little different or even completely different to mine, as long as it feels comfortable and supportive. Then work with whatever props you've got, whatever you have to hand. Once you get there, maybe noticing how your body, how your breath feels at the moment. Is it maybe a little different to how everything felt at the beginning of class? Maybe some of the stuff that felt really stressful or really stuck, maybe some of that's had a chance to fall away. Is there space for some of that calm, that peace, whatever feeling it is that you wanted to have been present in your body and mind? Maybe you can carry that with you. Taking a moment to acknowledge how your body, how your mind is feeling now. Noticing your breath, maybe the depth of your breath, maybe the calmness of it. Is there anywhere that's still holding on in your body? If there is, can you find space to let it become heavy, to relax? Maybe taking a little brief scan up the body, starting from your feet, and then really gradually working up from there, so the legs, the hips, the lower back, the mid back, upper back, chest, shoulders, arms, hands, neck, jaw, eyes, eye sockets, space in between the eyebrows, forehead, sides of the head, back of the head, crown of the head. Taking a few moments to rest, be open, giving yourself this space to just be. And wherever you are, I really encourage you to take a little longer in whatever position you're in. Allow yourself to have this time. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste.